These are your 2-7 notes on percent of change. So percent of change is the ratio of change in the amount of the original amount expressed as a percent. So you're taking the change to the original amount. So how much it's changing, it could be going up or it could be going down. And then you compare it to the original amount. So there's your ratio. When the new amount is greater than the original amount, the percent of change is called a percent increase. And then when the new amount is less than the original amount, the percent of change is a percent decrease. So we have a little formula to use here. All you're going to do is you're going to write these down. It's not really a formula, but it could be. So percent of change, don't get confused by just putting the original and the new compared together. So it's the amount of change. So you're going to do the new amount, take away the original, over the original. Now you want this to be positive because anytime we talk about change, we're going to talk about a positive change and we'll just say whether it was decrease or increase. So we don't want any negative numbers. So depending on if it's increase or decrease, you may want to change that so you're subtracting the original minus new or new minus original, depends. So you just want to put the bigger number out front. So if you look at the first problem here, the original number was 32. Maybe it's students, maybe it's players, maybe it's dollars, and then now the new is 40. So we know it's a percent increase just because the new amount is greater than the original, so that's easy enough. And then the change between these two numbers, I would actually take 40 and subtract 32, and I know that the change between them is 8. And in fact, it's 8 more because of the increase. So the new amount is 8 more than the original. So I'm going to take 8 over the original 32, and then I'm just going to change it into a decimal. So you divide that out, and you get 0.25. And then to change decimals into percents, we move it 2 places to the right. That's just like multiplying by 100 because percents are out of 100%. And so 25% increase. I should put increase there because we want to know, did the number go up or did it go down? So you need to put the label increase there. In the second example here, the original amount was 20 and now it's 4. So we want to know what percentage did it decrease. We know it's a decrease because it went from 20 down to 4, so that's a percent decrease. And I know that the change between them, if I take 20 and I subtract 4, the amount of change is equal to 16. So that's the amount of change. I'm not looking for the amount of change, I'm looking for the percent of change. So to figure that out, we take the amount of change, 16, over the original amount, which is 20. Divide that out, 16 divided by 20 is 80%, or I'm sorry, 0.80 as a decimal, and then change it, move it 2 places to the right, and that would be an 80% decrease. So if you think about it, if you go to the store and something's priced $20 and now it's priced $4, it's like it's 80% off. The price of a used bookstore pays to buy a book is $5. So the used bookstore pays to get a book and pays $5. The store sells the book for 28% above the price that it pays for the book. So it's going to mark up that book price 28% above the price that it pays for the book. What is the selling price of that book? So we know the original price. So that's our original. And then it's going to go above 28%. So 20% of $5. So I want to write this down. 28% of $5 is how much they're going to mark it up. So whenever you work with percents, in order to do math with them, you have to change it back to a decimal, 0.28. Of means multiplication. So I'm going to multiply that by 5. I'm going to take 28% of 5. When I do that calculation, I get 1.4. So So in terms of dollars and cents, that's $1.40. Now, they're not going to sell it for $1.40 because they paid $5 to get the book. So if they sold it for $1.40, they're losing money. They're going to charge people an extra 28% on that $5. So what we have to do, this is how much they're going to mark it up. That's the amount they're marking it up. So we take the $5 original and we add on the $1.40 to it. And so they're going to sell that book for $6.40. That's the selling price of the book. Now, another way to do the same problem is to look at that 28% and say if they're going to charge 100%, they just charge $5. They wouldn't make any money, but that's 100% of the book price. But instead, they're going to mark it up 28%. So really what they're paying is 128% of the book price. So another option, I'd like to show you a couple different ways to do this, is we can add on the 28 to 100 rather than adding on the money-wise. So you can add on the dollar amount in the end, or you can add on the percent amount in the beginning. Either way, we're going to get the same answer. So I move my decimal 2 places to the left, my percent, to make the percent into a decimal. So 1.28 of 5. And then when I do that math, 1.28 times 5, I get 6.4, which is $6.40. So looking at my work, you can kind of see just with the colors, red versus green. I think the red work is actually more work than the green. And the reason being, we're doing the same thing. We're taking the percent, we're multiplying, and we're adding on that new amount. I just did the addition of 28% in my head here. That was easy for me to add on to 100%. Whereas over here, I had to show the work of adding it afterward. Either way works, just make sure that you do it correctly. So a meal for 2 at a restaurant costs $32.75. If the sales tax is 5%, what is the total price of the meal? So we're not including tip here. We're just worried about tax. So someone goes to the restaurant. This is what their bill comes out to be. So the sales tax is 5% of that. So I can find 5% of $32.75, which, again, we got to move the decimal 2 places to the left. I got to add a placeholder 0. Make sure you move it 2 places to the left. A big mistake for 5% is people put 0.5. It's 0.05. It's like a penny or 5 cents, a nickel. 32.75. And then 0.05 times $32.75 is $1.6375, so about 64 cents. I rounded my money to 2 decimal places. What is the total price? This is the tax that we're going to pay. This right here is my bill. So to get the total, I got to take $32.75 and add on the $1.64. And so when I add those two together, I end up with $34.39. That would be the out-the-door price. So be careful with the word problems. Sometimes they're going to ask for the total price, so then we know we have to add it. Other times they might just say, what's the tax? And so then you just give that particular number. So you have to be careful, and you got to know what part you're giving them. I just want to show you one more time how you could do that without having to add at the very end. So if I have to pay 5% more than my bill is 100%. The meal was 32.75. I got to pay an additional 5%. So I'm really paying 105% of my bill, above and beyond my bill. So move the decimal place 2 places, 1.05 times 32.75. And when I calculate this part, I get the same answer. As long as you show your work, and as long as you're showing me this or this and all the work that follows, I can see either step. So again, you can kind of see I'm doing the addition in my head, so it's a little bit easier to add 5 to 100% than it is to add decimals. All right, so it's your turn now. Dang it, I forgot to change them. All right, sorry about that. Is the following an example of a percent increase or percent decrease? You don't have to solve it. You just have to explain, is it percent increase or decrease? And then come over on the practice side. A dog toy is on sale for 20% off the original price. If the original price of the toy is $3.80, what is the discounted price? So how much you're going to pay for that toy? Good luck.